Welcome to DXB today, and I'm here with two of my favorite people, Louis and Faris. We have a very exciting show coming up for you. We have industry experts, doctors, we talk plastic surgery, spinal surgery, and so much more. And let's find out what else is coming up on the show.
I head over to Adam Vital Hospital to discuss the importance of spinal surgeries with a specialist neurosurgeon from Belgium.
And Khalid takes a look at the highlights of our city's culinary scene from the Taste of Dubai event that took place just this weekend.
I have a look at aftercare and dermatology, and I even experienced Botox treatment firsthand at Prime Medical Center.
Plus, we've got jazz saxophonist Paulo Franco joining us with a special performance straight from the fridge at Al Circle to close the evening. Okay, it's all about health tonight, you guys. So, who wants to spill first? How many surgeries?
First, I want to see Faris try and raise his eyebrows this evening. How was your Botox? How is it that, Louis, you haven't tried Botox until now, and our 30-year-old Faris over here has tried Botox already?
Listen, I was at Prime Medical Center. We were talking Botox. The doctor said, "Do you want some Botox?" I had some Botox. And I don't think it's kicked in yet, because I only did it a couple of days ago. I think it takes like 6 days.
I think it takes a solid 2 weeks to kick in. I've been doing Botox for a couple of years now.
You know what? We got more information on that in a video coming on a little bit later.
Yes, exactly.
And I went down to film.
I believe you've had, we've all had surgeries here, you know,
Exactly.
for one reason or the other. I myself recently just had my mommy makeover 6 years after having my daughter. It was a big decision because it's not easy. The recovery is brutal. I had ab stitching and tummy tuck, and let's just say that it was harder than my C-section. Now, Louis, I know you've had
I've had 3
kids.
C-sections.
Yes, tell us more.
Yeah, but I'm just curious though, what was more painful?
Honestly, everything was hurting, and it was really hard for me to tell what was hurting and what wasn't. I actually struggled a lot with back pain, because what happens is when you get a mommy makeover, a tummy tuck, or an ab stitching, you have to lay in the same position for several hours. You sleep in the same position, you sit in the same position, so that puts a lot of strain on your back. So even for people who don't have chronic back conditions, it can be quite challenging. Something you will never have to experience, Faris.
I feel a bit out of my element in this conversation, but I did have a week where I did 5 surgeries in the same week. I did a turbinoplasty, I did a septoplasty, I did a uvulectomy and a tonsillectomy, and LASIK. The LASIK was extra.
I want to ask you a
Was
bit
this
about
all elective, or?
Yeah, I needed it to breathe.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to find out a little bit more about these procedures, probably from our guest co-host. Let's find out a bit more about him.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Naz. I'm the Medical Director of DNA Health. I'm going to help you optimize your health and live well. See you soon, guys.
Dr. Naz will join us in just a little bit, but first I head down to meet Dr. Sabouh Qassis at Adam Vital Hospital to find out everything that you need to know about the advancement in spinal surgery. Take a look. Yes, today I am at Adam Vital Hospital, located in El Garhoud, and it's well known for its orthopedic care, as well as spinal surgery and rehabilitation, musculoskeletal care in general. I'm going to be speaking to one of the doctors about the common problems that we have with our spines and how we can fix them. And we are here with Dr. Sabouh Qassis, neuro and spine surgeon, right here at Adam Vital Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us on DXB today. So first thing I want to ask about is, I feel like the back, the spine, is the thing that most people complain about having problems with when they reach the age of 35 and older. Why is that?
Like 80 to 90% of people, they have back pain at one point in their life. Why? Because we walk on two, and also lifestyle has changed recently. We see it a lot. So basically there are 3 factors which are important in back pain problems. One is the genetic factor. So some people, they will have more than other people. The other thing is, of course, aging. The older we get, the possibility of having problems are more in the spine. And the third thing, of course, it's very important, lifestyle.
So when it comes to people having back problems, is it better to come sooner rather than later? Do people leave it too long sometimes?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes people, they don't come early enough, or they don't recognize the serious symptoms that they must not ignore, especially if we have a back pain which is radiating to the limbs, like neck pain going to the arm or lower back pain to the leg, and associated with some weakness in the muscle force or numbness, tingling, pins and needles, all these things. So most of the time we have lower back issues, which comes from the disc problems. So here we can see on the market, this is like a disc herniation, which is usually occurs from the inside. This is for demonstration, and start pressing on the nerves. So in this case, people will have leg pain, and the easiest way is just to remove what is going out. So this can be done nowadays with endoscopy. We go just directly with a small tube here, or from the inside without shaving or removing much bone, and doing the job done with a very small incision.
I was going to say, what would you say to someone who has a problem, but they're scared of the surgery, but they think it's very invasive? What would you say to them about the process, the pain?
Yeah, first of all, a lot of people, they have this notion spine surgery means getting paralyzed, etc. So this is, it's not true anymore. Especially for the lower back, most people, they don't know that the spinal cord is not there. So you cannot injure something which is not there.
Yeah.
It stops higher up. So no, we try to explain to them that if you do it in the right time, the chances of recovery is better. If you leave it for a longer time, you may not get better or partially improve. And everybody nowadays, with the advances in technology and surgeries, they have the right to live without pain. And some people, like, they don't have pain all the time, but whenever they want to be engaged in some activity, they will have pain. This is also affecting the quality of life, and this can be fixed.
Wow. Dr. Sabot, thank you so much for being on DXB today.
Thank you.
Well, that definitely put my mind at ease. Luckily, I don't have any spinal problems now, but even if it happens, I know that there's constantly research and techniques to make it easier, and less invasive. Thank you once again to Adam Vital Hospital, and of course to Dr. Sebo.
Thank you, Faris, for that report. Now, our co-host today is a medical director offering cutting-edge treatment strategies to optimize long-term health and lifestyle. Transcending beyond the field of traditional medicine, he is a wellness advocate taking an integrated approach to medicine. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Naz. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
You know, this is a topic I absolutely love to talk about. I'm sure you can agree with me that over the years, over the centuries, the way human beings approach their, well-being and medical concerns have changed so much, from holistic approaches, home remedies, and so much advancement in the field of medicine in itself, particularly since COVID. How do you think we have been addressing our health concerns?
Yeah, no, interesting point. I think, the interesting thing about COVID is it made people realize that it's not good enough not being disease-free. You have to be in optimal health. And people felt vulnerable for the first time. So we definitely see a trend in people being a lot more proactive about their health. And that's everything from the testing through to the treatments. And interestingly also, we've got a lot of this advanced technology, and you mentioned a lot of these ancient practices. People are actually going back to basics, and really lifestyle is the cornerstone.
Dr. Naz, you work, of course, at DNA Health. I've been there, and I'm not going to mention why I was. But it was sort of an intimidating feeling, because I was sitting in the waiting room and I saw basically a menu of all the things you can do that I hadn't even heard of. And I was like, should I be doing all these things? So for people who don't know about all the different procedures, is there someone that can guide them with DNA Health as to what they might need?
Yeah, of course, and actually it's meant to have the reverse effect. You're meant to feel like you're walking into a spa.
Fair enough.
And so there's two aspects to it. There is the analysis and the testing, and then there's the treatment side. And in all honesty now, people are going for the full journey. So it will always start off with a very detailed consultation. And this is in contrast to how I used to practice in the traditional system. I would have 10 minutes with a patient, and that's to meet them, greet them, get the information, document, prescribe, and get them out of the room. That's just not feasible or doesn't lend itself to giving them optimal care. So it really starts with a very detailed consultation, and then we will design a treatment program and then a plan based on that.
Now, I know Faris has been to DNA Health, however, we haven't yet. Ben, you've been saying how there's a detailed consultation and then there's a plan afterwards, which pretty much is what most of us experience. So how different exactly is DNA Health from other hospitals here in the UAE?
So if you look at the way that the traditional system is set up, they're very much aligned to diagnosing disease, whereas we fill the gap where we're trying to prevent and identify disease before it's happened, and even reverse disease. So people get told that they have a chronic disease. It doesn't really need to be the case. They don't have to live with a disease for the rest of their life. We can actually reverse it in a lot of cases. So the types of testing we're doing is very different. We're looking at the root cause. We're not just trying to find the symptoms and treat them. We're kind of trying to keep people in optimal health. And then the therapies that we're using, as I said, I mean, lifestyle is always going to be the cornerstone, but we're using a lot of nutritional therapy, whether that be oral. We also use a lot of IV therapy, right through to the most cutting edge, stem cell therapies, exosomes, which I'm sure we'll hear later on.
Dr. Naz, I want to ask you a little something about, life expectancy, and you mentioned a little bit about lifestyle being the cornerstone. Now, typically there are two schools of thought. Some people believe that your life expectancy is determined a lot by genetics. A lot of other people like yourself say it is lifestyle. And feel free to destroy me here, but this is purely out of observation. You see perfectly healthy people who diet, exercise, have a complete athletic build, and suddenly have a heart attack at 37. At the same time, you see an Indonesian 97-year-old grandma who's been smoking 50 cigarettes a day and still doesn't seem to want to kick the bucket anytime soon. So explain that to me, please.
Yeah, no, and it's a good point. And listen, there's always going to be some people who have won the genetic lottery. And as you say, they can drink, they can smoke, they can do whatever, and they'll still live to 100. Our role is really to identify people who are genetically at risk of dying early and essentially putting in a plan in place to prevent that, because we now have the analysis and the technology where we can allow that to happen. So yeah, it's a combination of both your genetics and your environment, and we're here to identify your predispositions and then optimize your environment.
Something I have thought about as a bit of a musing, so if you'll entertain it, is when people do things to look younger, to feel better, do you think that causes a mental connection to actually living longer?
Oh, I think it depends on the psychology of the person. I mean, certainly, a lot of people are doing, I guess, the more superficial cosmetic appearance interventions to make themselves feel better. I've got no doubt that will help for some people, but it's really not helping you necessarily internally. So I think it has to be really a balance.
So what are your top tips for people who want to live longer and not just have a better quality of life as well?
So, nutrition, you could talk all day about it. And the fact that, the reason everyone has an opinion about nutrition is it's not binary. It's not this is right, this is not right. There's no absolutes. What's suited for me is not necessarily suited for you. That doesn't mean to say that there aren't basic principles. So for example, we need to just eat less. And a lot of people leverage off, you've heard people talking about intermittent fasting. Don't eat too late. Don't snack. Stick to whole, real foods. Prioritize sleep. A lot of people come to me and they're sleeping at midnight, 1 in the morning. I mean, midnight comes from the term middle of the night. I'm petrified if I'm in bed by, after 10 p.m. So it's really focusing on the basics and then tracking, do some analysis, because I think, most of us have more information about our financial health rather than our actual health. And that's one of the things, coming back to what's changed. People are being a lot more proactive about getting the data. When you have the data, you can actually improve your health going forward.
Well, Dr. Naz, we've got a lot more to talk about. If you'll hang around with us, we're going to bring some more doctors in. Cool. But for right now, let's take a little sneak peek at the artist featured on tonight's show. Take a look at this.
Hello, this is Paulo Franco. I'm a saxophonist, and I'm going to perform in today's show Wine Lights by Groove in Washington. So tune in to the end of the show. Don't miss it.
We will be seeing that later on, but coming up, we'll be talking to a specialist about orthopedic rehabilitation, and we'll be diving into the realm of plastic surgery. Let's find out about that later on, so stay with us on DXB Today.